Okay, so I decided that what that says over there, I'm pretty sure it says power. That's what I'm pretty sure that it says. So I duplicated my on-off text object, duplicated it, shrunk it in size, positioned it right there, changed it to power. So each of these are named. Like this one's called on-off, that one's called power, that one's called Y vision, and I selected all three of them actually by holding the control key. I was able to select all three of them, and let me deselect that button. Control key. I just want to get the text objects. There we go. So I've got three objects here, selected all three text objects, opened up the material editor, and I applied the same material that I applied to the buttons to that selection so that, it gets painted. And then I can do a quick render here and see that I used the wrong color. Let's try that again. Hit the M key here. This one. There we go. To the selection. Now let me hit the quick render button. And that's much better. There we go. So got those materials applied to this object. Now, the next thing that I'd like to do here is I'd like to just arrange this front a little bit better here so that scale is better. So I'm going to select the TV itself and hide the TV. And then I'm going to select just the knob and all of its components. The knob and all of its components. With the knob and all of the knob's components selected, I'm going to group them together in a group which I will call knob. And now that I've created them as a group, I'm going to right click and unhide all. And with the scale tool, I'm just going to scale the knob up a little bit, make the knob a little larger, just so it takes up that space in the front better. Yeah, because this one it's a very dominating button, and I want it to fill in that space a little bit better. And pretty happy with that. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to create this little part right down here at the bottom. I think this is the volume control. So to create the volume control, let's see here. Standard primitives, extended primitives, cant for cylinder, gin gong, spindle, standard primitives. We've got a tube. We go to the front viewport, come down here to the bottom. And again, my tube, it's starting off with 4 sides. Let's start it off with 36 sides. So now there we go. Kind of, yeah, much nicer. Okay, so I'm going to get the scale tool. And I'm just going to scale it. That looks terrible. That looks really terrible. Control Z. How do I want to handle this? Let's not do a tube. Let's go ahead and let's start with a box. All right, I've got a box right there. Switch to the perspective viewport. Move tool. Move it so that it's over here near the front of the TV. Back it up so that it sticks into the TV. But I want this one to be raised a little bit because it is raised up. And then how can I round those edges? I think I can round those edges if I let me hide the unselected. So I've just got this box here that's left here. And I'm going to change the name of this box to volume control outer. Okay. And Then I'm going to right click it, convert it to an editable poly. It's now converted to an editable poly. And I'm going to get on its edges. And the edges I want to get are these edges here on the sides. And then I want to chamfer these edges. And just clicking the tool, of course, it really blows it up real fast. But if I change my number of segments to let me make it 5 segments. Let me press the F4 key so I can. It does look rounded pretty nicely. Go ahead and accept it. Select this polygon that's on the front. I'm going to click the Inset Tool, and again, 1 centimeter is too much. I'll bring that in maybe 0.16 centimeters. I'll click OK. And then I'm going to click the Extrude tool, and 10 is definitely not what I want to do on the extrusion. I want to extrude in, so that's going to be a negative value. Went too far. That ought to be good right there. All right. And let's see. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it should be okay. I'm going to turn off polygons. I'm going to get the material editor up here. And this one is just my regular gold. Paint that with the regular gold. And let me right click and unhide all. And yeah. Yeah. Now it's a little low. I'm going to move it up a little bit. And it's even sticking out a little bit. But I don't want to go down too much. If I go down too much, then I'm going to run into a conflict with the brown face on the TV. So I'm happy with that. It is a little on the huge side, though. Let me get the scale tool. By my own fault, I made it a little big. So I'll shrink that down significantly and maybe even squeeze that down a little more. It's got more or less the right shape that I'm looking for. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to hide all the unselecteds. And looking at this from the top, let me switch to the top and get the zoom key. So looking at this from the top, I want to put, and it's going to be a standard primitive, and it's just going to be a cylinder. I want to put a cylinder in that's going to, let me get the move tool here and kind of move this into place. And let's see, it's a little on the big side. Let me adjust the radius some. And then back to perspective viewport here. I can see that that thing is not quite positioned, where I want it. Move it up. And let's see, look at it from the front viewport. We don't need all these height segments. Its height needs to be shrunk down. And then we'll look at it again from the top. And I'm going to get the scale tool. I'm going to squish it a little bit. I want to squish it a little bit. Hope that's okay with you. It's okay with me. I'm going to push that back down. Go back to perspective viewport. Take a look, see how things are looking here. All right, and we'll bring up the material editor, and we're going to apply my dark material to it. And then let me go ahead and unhide all and take a look at the front face of my TV. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now I noticed something. Something happened up here. Um, I don't know if I did I move that a little bit. I sure did. I moved it just a little bit in X, and I moved a little bit in Z for the actual TV. And this piece right here, um, it's supposed to be. There we go. I'm supposed to be able to see this. Ah, that's the whole group. Ah, because I scaled it. Because I scaled the whole thing. That's why it got pushed back in. Okay. So I needed to adapt based on that scale that I put on it. All right. So it's looking pretty good here. Happy with that latest stage. I'll go File, Save As, hit the little plus symbol, and we'll call this one a wrap.